Good evening, y'all. It is Sunday, January 14th, about 1:36 a.m. Um, I'm like so tired. Strange enough, physical, physically I don't feel tired, but I know my body needs to go to sleep. I know my mind needs more rest than anything. But it's hard to because if I'm not being if my subconscious is not being um spoken into or manipulated with images or whatever the case may be, then I could probably sleep better. But when your when your brain is connected to the cloud and then you have all these different people that have access to your brain, your memories, your emotions, your bodily functions, how fast your heart rate beats, your blood flow, your um all and then they're all taking turns and probably paying God knows who to say, you see the energy field from the portable battery that's plugged up in the wall. Take attach form a beam from there and attach it to I don't know, his like left kidney or um actually strange enough. Okay, so I went to bed around 10:35, right? Now just so you know, um just about like I see through the matrix so clearly now. I see everybody. I see everybody. And it doesn't matter if you're the violent type, you're the sexual type, you're just the stealing type. I see everybody. Why? Because the energy that exudes from me, the energy that radiates from me, it makes them nervous. Even if I've never said a word to you, the moment my presence is felt, everybody starts shifting. Whew. Everybody starts shifting. The moment I walk into an area or a room, everyone starts shifting. But not everyone. The people who start shifting are the ones who have the most to hide. Sorry, I ran out of storage. But um shifting. Lately, they've been doing a lot more tuning to my emotional energy, my energy states, my what's the words I'm looking for? They've been doing a lot more tuning to my energy and my emotions. Rather, probably one of the most prominent frequencies that they are tuning the most is the emotion of fear. Fear is probably one of the most common emotions that's constantly being tuned to every single person around the world. Fear, the state of fear, fear of just about everything. Fear of not having enough money, the fear of losing your home, the fear of getting sick, the fear of growing old, the fear of not having enough things, the fear of not having a car, the fear of not having food, the fear of not having nice clothes, the fear of not having shoes to walk in, the fear of not having running water, the fear of not having hot water, the fear of not um, being able to get your hair done, the fear of so many different things, the fear of not having enough money. And it's interesting because over the last like 2 or 3 days, my girlfriend and I, we watched a couple of episodes on Netflix about well, these two shows, I think made by like the same producers or whatever. It's one was called How to Become a Cult Leader, and then the one last night that we started watching was How to Become a Tyrant. Now, oddly enough, they basically coincide on the same spectrum. Both of them coincide on the same spectrum, and they both typically tends to have the same, like very similar um, agendas. Um, Listening to the dialogue that they're brainwashing all of the other shadowers that are in this cloud and watching and observing. Um, I'm starting to slowly be able to categorize them into three categories. You have those who are just observing and probably just collecting information. They just want to see what other people are doing or experiencing. Then you have those who are active participants um, in basically um, interfering with people in minor ways where, like, I don't know, maybe there's a cryptocurrency payment system already in place so that, like, if they wanted to just like do small things, like not just observe, but once they've acquired some intel about the target or the shadow or the subject, once they get in their physical vicinity, or once they get in their physical vicinity, they probably get rewarded with, I don't know, cryptocurrency or maybe possible, employment opportunities or something like that. By either engaging in noise campaigns or, um, you know, they learn some particular detail about you, and as they walk by, they say, "Yeah, you're gonna die," and that's why the banana pecan, it really be weird like that, like, or sometimes I notice like with some very sneaky like the real professionals at it. They're the types that'll be, they'll be walking down the street, have the baby, and have the baby in a stroller, and they're walking with the guy, and you from halfway down the block, if not the whole entire block, you're all the way down the street. Now you're already kind of heightened anyway. And what's interesting is, as the V2K operators are speaking into your head, they're already like manipulating and like linguistically programming not just you, but they're also programming the observers as well, because they have to actually resonate with a different frequency while they're inducing a lower vibrational frequency within you. So it's like for you, they're inducing fear with their lingual program because you can hear them say, he has no idea, or, you know, he has no respect for women, or he has no respect for money. Um, his tumor, his brain tumor is growing, or um, he needs to stop smoking or whatever. And then, of course, the observers, they're taking it in and they're resonating because they're being programmed to basically hate that person. They're being programmed to believe that that person does not deserve to survive. That person does not deserve to live. They're being programmed to basically produce a different type of low vibrational energy that goes against your life force. So not only are the V2K hosts or whatever, not only are they trying to induce fear, doubt, um, I don't know, all kinds of other like extremely low vibrations into you, they're programming those who are observing to basically produce a specific vibration to push upon your life force. So they're tuning you, one with the directed energy, the energy that they're traveling through that's connecting to your energy chakras, or connecting to different body parts to cause pain, so that you are always in a constant state of anguish or something like that. That's one way that they're basically tuning you for basically death, or character something. That's like one aspect of how they're tuning you to a slow death and torture. The second one is just the words that they speak. The words that they're speaking is basically like spell casting. The words that they're speaking, and especially if you're still at the point where you care what others think about you. So if they're saying stuff like, "Oh, everybody wants him to go to prison," or if you're still caring about what other people think, and you haven't worked past that part, you're always going to be tuned. They're always going to be effective with everything that they say about you because you're still caring about what other people think in this system. If you're still allowing yourself to still care about what other people think about you, when nothing that they say perfectly lines up with your actions, you are always going to fail at that aspect, because the whole point is to demoralize you. The whole point is to basically get you to change how you act so that you start to line up with everything they're saying. So they have to tune your energy. They have to tune your energy just to basically get you to be, they have to tune your energy basically to get you to feel your will to do good or do well. They tune your energy just to get your will to change. Once it's almost as if like your will starts to change externally, that's how they start to get you sucked into the downward spiral. Now, as if you get the V2K, that's why this is one of the reasons why I say the V2K is for those who are probably, and now all of a sudden you hear all this noise. It was quiet. It was quiet when I woke up. Now all of a sudden, it's mad noise. And they're not even speaking English right now. Now, one of the operators, the main one, Michael, I call him, he's like, "That's a stupid ass nigga." Because I'm already aware that people are watching. Your awareness is everything. Your awareness is everything. If you make yourself aware, do not change what you're doing. You're just aware. When you make yourself aware, you take back street theater, probably. Street theater, possibly. Or it could just be a real argument. Who knows? But as long as I'm aware, and because I make myself aware of the players around me, then what I do next is I allow myself to think of several different possibilities of things that are possibly happening and things that are possibly not happening. I allow myself to do this because, one, if I think of everything that can possibly be happening, even though I'm not fully aware, or because I'm not up there, or I'm not in people's minds, I don't know what's happening. All I hear is the commotion. But it's just the timing of these commotions. It's the timing. Before I decided to make this video, there was nothing happening. Then as I started to record the video, all of a sudden, commotion. Timing is everything when it comes to brainwashing or brain entrainment. Timing is everything. Timing is everything when it comes to brain waves. Timing is everything when it comes to the subtle changes in someone's emotional state. The timing is everything. And then now they're like, he has no idea. People are actually watching him for something. And and my girlfriend, she gets so upset when I do that because I hardly ever hear the whole statement. Is because I'm so entrained myself to notice some of the first few parts of their statements. And then I never allow myself to listen fully to hear what they're saying. So sometimes I'll catch the whole thing, but it's like I guess when I really think about it, I'm being reactionary. Where I guess I'm so irritated by hearing their voice all the time and always talking some type of trash about me, or talking some type of trash about how people who are eating off of this system are starting to become very uneasy by my moral standards. Because like I said before, prior to this, I did not have problems with people. What I always did have problems with is people who were irrational, emotionally unstable, senseless violence, you know. In the Bible, it says God can forgive a man who steals because he's hungry. The Bible don't say nothing about forgiving a man who steals just because he just wants more. That's gluttony. And now they're like, this fool has no idea. He's a bitch ass nigga. Do you know how much violence is all around people, especially growing up in New York City? Do you know how much violence and fear? It's just like, remember in Ghostbusters 2, in that ooze was flowing under the city and everybody started to become angry? I just thought about that. Yo, it literally just hit me. I just thought about it. That's what it feels like. It feels like there's something, it's like there's a smog of this dense, thick, hateful, disgusting energy, and it has the ability to basically change whatever state a person's in into whatever this energy is that's permeating throughout the city. And this energy is a frequency. I mean, the stuff that's coming out, and there's so much stuff that's coming out, so much truth that's coming out. Right now, there's a lot of smoke and mirrors. There's a lot of smoke and mirrors. They're dragging the whole they're dragging the whole Epstein thing. They're dragging it. Um they're dragging the whole acknowledgement that our tissues are absorbing entirely too much electromagnetic waves. They're dragging it with not telling people that their respiratory system is slowly failing because they won't stop spraying. They're dragging it without telling people that their circulatory system is starting to become even more compromised because of the nanoparticles that are flowing through our bodies and self-assembling, and possibly causing blood clots and changing. Yeah, ugh. And I just had images of people coughing up blood clots and stuff like that. It's so gunky and thick. And I don't know if any of you have ever seen those videos of like, sometimes the header would be something like the arteries or veins of someone who took the shot, or something like that. But little do people really know, you never really did need it to take the shot. You're already breathing the stuff that they want to put in you. But and you can taste it in the air, really. You can almost taste the charge. You can taste the charge. It tastes like iron, or it tastes like a type of metal. The air shouldn't taste like metal. And then they're trying to make all these nano robots to be like either DNA based, protein based, things that can make it more undetectable to your immune system, because your immune system naturally wants to get rid of things that are not supposed to be in your body, and that includes nanobots. Definitely pay attention to like your stool. Pay attention to your urine, especially those of you who are doing heavy metal detoxes, and those of you who know about DMSO or activated charcoal, iodine. Pay attention to your stool. Those of you who know about those of you who are using the anti-nano bucket, where you basically take a plastic bucket, wrap it with copper wire, and then you attach an energy source to that copper wire, and then it basically starts to create like an energy field within the water. And in the water you put I believe it's baking soda and sea salt. Some people put essential like some type of essential oils, like I forgot, was it rosemary? I forgot. And then as you're soaking in, as you have, let's say, your feet in the bucket while the magnetic field is generated, you're gonna watch this white powdery residue stuff, and it's reflective as fuck. You're gonna watch this stuff come out in the water. I think I've shown you guys some, like, if you go back, whenever I take sometimes when I take the radiation detox salt bath, with the baking soda, sea salt. I add like a half a cup of boron to the water too, and about half a cup of um, what's the word? Boron, borax as well. Um, um, hydrogen peroxide. I add that to the water too, and then after soaking in the water, turn the lights off. Take a flashlight and hold it against the surface of the water. You're gonna see all the reflective particles. You're going to see all the reflective particles sitting on the top of the water. They're going to be sitting on the top of the water, floating like little white. It looks like it literally looks like this white substance that's just like floating on the surface of the water, and it's going to be reflective. You're going to see all the little particles bouncing off the light, right? Bouncing the light off of it. Um, but yeah, let me get back to what I really want to say. I felt myself waking up. I was hoping it was actually much later than what it is, so then I wouldn't feel like, you know, um, extra tired or whatever. But what's happening? Normally, I always want to try to see if I could go to church because my mom wants me to be in church. So I always try to honor that, with my mother. Of course, that's like one of the main. I forgot which one, I forgot which commandment, but it is one of God's commandments. Honor thy mother and thy father. You know, so I'm like, I try to go to church, right? But of course, I want to try to get as much rest as I can because my body, my soul feels fine. The energy that is powering my body feels fine, like because that's more connected to God than anything. My body, though, my body is being tugged and pulled and poked and prod and, electrocuted and burned and all these different things, all from these traveling electromagnetic waves that are being sent from various electrical sources, whether it's this phone or whether it's a light bulb or it's the refrigerator plugged in or it's coming from the fuse box, um, or it's coming from, it could be a lamp plugged in. Anything that has a flow of electricity, including this beam up here going into the prefrontal cortex, because that's a permanent fixture. That beam that's going into the prefrontal cortex from whatever angle that is. I think that's a 45-degree angle. Whatever that, um, whatever that energy source is, I'm not sure where it's coming from. It could be coming from satellites, or I'm not sure because when I try to follow it, I can only go as far as my finger and arm can reach. No matter where I turn, even if I turn my head, it stays in its same position. It stays in its same position, but it just moves with the head. Now, as I'm moving my head like this, I could feel it. As I'm moving my head like this, I can feel the warmth in the magnetic presence of the beam. I can feel the frequency carrier or the carrier being basically flickering through my fingers, especially through my index and middle finger and thumb. It's as if like if you took your finger and went over a flame and you feel the warmth of the flame, and you feel not just the warmth of the flame, but you feel the flame bend. You feel the flame bend under your, like around your fingers. That's what I feel. Only thing I just don't have is the visual technology to be, I don't have the technology to be able to show it, but I can feel it. And every single person has the same thing in them. Every single person. If you have children, and I'm not trying to induce fear, I'm just trying to make you aware. If you have children, go to your child, right? The brain has two sides, left hemisphere, right hemisphere. Frontal lobe is the one that's more closest to the forehead. Move back about, I want to say, let's say you started from at the, well, you're, start at like the base of your forehead, right? Move up, well, it's like, okay, move over, let's say, to right where, like the bridge or something of your occipital bone, I believe it's called, like where the bone of your eyebrow starts to curve or whatever. Start from there and then go up about let's say 7, I want to say that could be, about 6 to 8 inches. And you will feel, you might even have an indent. You might even have a groove going into your skull. And it's going to be like this big. Now, if you back your hand up from that groove, and you just shift your hand like this, just very subtle. It also helps if you're actually in a cold environment, because if you're in a cold environment, then you can actually feel the concentration of the heat. You'll feel the concentration of it it's like it'll feel like a round beam shaped form, and you'll feel the concentration of the heat flickering. You'll feel it flickering. But everyone is connected. Everyone. Now, where are these servers? I have no idea where these servers are. Now, Michael, he's like he's like, Chris, the military don't want you to know about technology. He's stupid. He don't even realize the military is watching. And I'm like, it's interesting because I'm like, that's the problem we have. That's the problem. Because they're using a word to basically categorize everyone. Because if you say the military to someone who's trying to find out who's doing what, that's how you're really going to get some, like for someone who's not aware enough of how this programming works. If you say the military, you are going to program someone to think that it's everyone in the military when it's not everyone in the military. We're talking about a coup. There is a global coup that is taking place over the entire earth, or at least in all of the places where there's telecommunications and other radio frequencies that are prominent and spreading wildly. But there is a coup, and so many places are being infiltrated by these people. They just call themselves secret societies because there's so many secret societies in the world, and more times than likely, they all tend to work with each other rather than go against each other. So that includes the Illuminati, Skull and Bones, and I don't know. I've heard people mention the Boule and There's so many secret societies out there, but they're all aiming to do the same thing, one after another. They're all aiming to do the same thing. And when you think about this one world government or this new world order, I think it's basically like a bridging conglomerate of all of them together, saying, let's all put our resources together and completely take over the world. Rather than having factions of secret societies, they're going to bridge all of their resources and powers together. But anyway, these people are feeding. They're feeding and feeding and feeding. And they're feeding because of who they're hosting. See, a lot of people have started believing in, you know, esoteric stuff, metaphysical stuff. And I'm not talking about technology. I'm talking about the spiritual stuff. People stop believing in these things, which is crazy because it was a movie with Kevin Spacey and this line, I was like, yo, he said it. He said everything in this line. He said, one of the greatest tricks the devil has ever pulled off was convincing everyone that he's not real. If that's not a sign right there. And then something else is, one of the other tricks that the Western world has definitely convinced millions, if not billions, of people to believe is that your soul isn't all that important. If your soul wasn't all that important, then why are they trying to manipulate it? It's not necessarily your body that they really want. I think we fully understand that because they're killing so many people. They're killing so many people with this technology. So it's not necessarily the body that they want. I mean, come on, think about it. Robert Duncan, Dr. Duncan, named his book Project Soul Catcher. Project Soul Catcher. There's a reason they call it Soul Catcher. Because this technology is linked to capture the energy radiating from your soul. But yeah, I found myself waking up to their voices, and not like people upstairs, but to the auditory transmissions, the frequencies of their voices being decoded by my auditory cortex, and then I'm hearing their voices. I was hearing them, and it's the weekend, so they always try to do so. They're always extra on the weekends, and I think it's because they just have more viewers, more observers. Then they probably generate more money by trying to see how much more they can do to my body, without me dying per se. Because, we're all basically slaves for those who are controlling our energy or manipulating. I'm not going to say controlling, but manipulating our energy. $135. I lost my train of thought. Because as I'm speaking, I feel pressure build up here, and then I feel pressure build up here. Both sections, both of these. So I have to push through this because I keep running out of storage space, and my girlfriend, she got up, so now she's because of the commotion that happened upstairs. And also, they keep messing with my memory, my active memory. So I'm gonna try to see if I could get off what I was telling you all, and then what I told her as well. But when I had stopped at the last video, I was mentioning, and then now they're affecting my memory again. It's like a pressure buildup on the right side of the brain. But anyway, the moment I finished that last video, they're like, he's trying to be successful. And I always try to analyze that statement because that's such an odd statement to make. He's trying to be successful. Everything that I'm talking about in my videos has to do with morality, humanity. And it's not like anything that I'm saying is wrong. But what they're doing is they have convinced people who have been eating off of this system that this system is the best thing that they have going in their life. And it doesn't matter what's happening to other people, whether they're digitally being poked, prod, stabbed, raped, having their intellectual property stolen, whatever the case may be. You know, they're basically, what's the words I'm looking for? They are normalizing. They are normalizing these acts, these vile acts. So whenever I hear them say he's trying to be successful, and I'm talking about morality and humanity, they say he's trying to be successful. So in my mind, I'm like, so that sounds like they are fully aware of what they're doing and the energies that they're conjuring up and the forces that they're working with. They're fully aware of what they're doing. Or maybe not fully aware, because you know a lot of these people still don't believe in the spirit and darkness and demons and fallen angels. A lot of people still don't believe in that stuff, which is wild because this is stuff that has been passed down for centuries. This is recorded knowledge through centuries about evil spirits and fallen angels and stuff, but people have been entrained to not believe in this stuff, yet it's still being carried through human history about these beings. So they're like, oh, he's trying to be successful. So I'm like, trying to be successful? Are you not aware of who you're working with, who you're working for? Are you not aware? So I'm thinking to myself like, wow, okay, then if I'm being successful, if I'm trying to be successful, then what are you successful at doing then? Because obviously you are not building people up. You are actually further enslaving people into something that's not even natural. You are further enslaving people's mind, bodies, and souls into a system that does not care whether they live or die, only if they are providing data or energy to a system that is feeding something else. Remember, if you've read about Bob Monroe. Bob Monroe came up with the term loosh energy, and he brought up the idea that, you know, we as a species, we have some people among us who have made some deals with some entities who basically gave them access to certain knowledge and technology to get other human beings and other animals to produce a particular type of energy that these entities feed off of. I mean, think about like seriously, why does everyone's soul need to be connected to a system that's not even natural? Because our energy is being converted and given to feed something that's not even human. And I believe this wholeheartedly. And then he'll say, this fool has no idea. And then he'll say, oh, he's trying to be successful. You're telling me I'm trying to be successful at fighting for human rights? I'm trying to be successful for fighting for human rights. So what are you actually successful at doing? Because obviously, killing is one thing that you're successful at. um, Basically, keeping people in a perpetual state of fear, that's what you're successful at. Um, Destroying people's confidences and wills and manipulating people's bodily functions and things. You're successful at that. You're successful at destroying lives. That's what you're successful at. So if I'm trying to be successful at something, then what I'm trying to be successful with is actually restoring goodness to all of humanity. I'm trying to be successful at that, I guess. Because if you're successful at something, you're successful at destroying the lives of innocent people. You're successful at furthering the depopulation agenda. You're successful at keeping the industrial military complex successful. Running. You're successful at keeping the death culture alive, and keeping the death culture alive in humanity. You're successful at that. You're successful at taking from others without ever being caught. You're successful at that. You're successful at giving pedophiles and rapists and murderers access to people's bodies so that they can successfully be able to do whatever they want to do and be able to feel it the same way, because it's all electrical impulses in the body. They're successful at that. And I'm just thinking to myself, like, so if I'm trying to be successful with what I'm doing, what are they successful with? And that's where we learn the difference between us and them. That's where we learn the difference between those who are enhanced and those who are not. And I live in New York City. Those of you who live in huge metropolitan areas, you see the vast difference between people as they move and walk about. When you're being targeted and you allow yourself to become fully aware without letting fear debilitate you, you eventually start to see what their success looks like. You're looking from a different perspective now. You are now seeing what their version of successful looks like. So if you're fighting for the good of all humanity, then you're trying to be successful at restoring the goodness of human beings. You're trying to be successful at that, all the while trying to make sure you keep yourself from falling into the downward spiral of their type of success. They love to see people getting killed. They love to see people, having harm committed unto them. They love seeing this stuff. Now, everyone who's basically mad at me because maybe they're not actively participants. They're not active participants in some of the more vile things that's going on in the metaverse. Maybe they probably do more of the subtle, little things. And they think, oh, it's not that big of a deal. All I do is just say a word or something, and my life is so much better. All I'm being asked to do is to just say this or do this, and it's not that bad. Compared to those who are actually really killing people through the system, maybe you're not that bad, but you're enabling the others. By conforming, you are consenting, and by consenting, you are agreeing to allow children to be further, sexually abused. Now children don't even have to actually be physically abducted. They're linked to the cloud. So now pedophiles can just basically link their bodies to their bodies, and then they can basically sexually assault a child through through the use of these electromagnetic waves that are then, basically resonating with, different parts of the body. Someone wants to stab you in the heart. Oh, all they gotta do is, I guess, transfer energy from this one particular source, and then attach the insertion of the carrier wave into your heart, and then boom, now all of a sudden you have the sensation of someone stabbing you in the heart. I don't know exactly how it works, but seeing how I can track and trace a carrier wave coming from one electrical source and then track it all the way to a specific body part that now has a pulse. There's a pulsation, a pulsing feeling, in that spot. But anyway, I got up because I was like, you know what? I'm sick of them. I'm sick of them, but it's not the time yet for God to allow me to do whatever. I don't know. Maybe I'm not supposed to be the one to try to figure out how to weaponize my energy against them. Maybe I'm supposed to focus on helping other people find healing in this time. I don't know. We all have a particular purpose on this earth. Even the gang stalkers, their purpose is most likely to apply pressure to our lives so then we become more engulfed in God. Maybe we, are supposed to actually use their presence to, awaken our true essence, our true powers or whatever. But, all right, I'm gonna try to go back to sleep now, and then I'll see if I can upload these videos. I'm feeling frequencies going into I guess it's what is this, my appendix? Or I don't know, it's something on the front lower end of my abdomen, or torso rather. It's something on the lower left side. I'm not sure if it's I'm not sure if they're just causing issues in my intestines, or if it's the kidney they're aiming for, or I don't know. But I can feel this pin size vibration that's going through my hand, and it's because I have my hand on my side, on my over the area that they're attacking, and I could feel this frequency penetrating in between my fingers to get to the spot, and then I feel the energy. I'm holding the phone in my right hand, and I can feel these wafting waves of energy going against my hand as I'm holding the phone too. So then I'm also feeling a whole bunch of stuff going on in my heart. But anyway, shift your attention, shift your energy. Don't stop focusing on the things that they because think about it. They want you to focus on how much pain you're in. They want you to focus on fear. Start shifting. Shift your energy. Shift your energy to everything that's supposed to uplift you. Find your peace. Whatever you do, find your peace and do everything you can to hold on to it for dear life. You cannot prevent yourself from physically dying. We all have to die at some point. That is the curse that has been put upon humanity, is that we all have to die because of, the sins of others. We have to die. None of us can live forever. We messed that up centuries ago. So do whatever you can to master your peace. They're going to do everything they can to make sure that their rulers get the energy that they seek. because they're clinging to their vessels. They're clinging to things that are not of God. Remember, we're only in this world as a test. These bodies that we're in right now, they're just vessels carrying our true forms, our true selves. So, on that note, take life one breath, one thought, one step, one day at a time.